Good morning. So even though it is truly sunshine out where we are today, it's not all sunshine and rainbows with the RV. So recently we've been experiencing our jacks lowering while we're towing. And we did some troubleshooting with Grand Design over the phone, trying to close some valves, seeing if that would stop it. It wasn't really stopping it. So what we were doing was taking bungee cords and just forcing them to be closed during moving day, because it was a little scary to make a left or a right hand turn and then see your jacks a couple inches from the ground.
Yeah, and they weren't like continuously extending. It was kind of like they were drooping. So
Right.
It wasn't like a powered extend down. They were just slowly drooping. So
Yes.
and the great thing about these jacks was they had these nice little holes on each side of them. So we were able to put a bungee on each side. And I feel like it wasn't that scary. And I think that's more of we've been on the road for multiple years now.
Yeah.
And if this had happened our first year on the road, we probably would have been freaking out. And
Yes, considering we told Grand Design no huge rush, we'll wait a week until a tech can get to us. So that's what's happening today. We have a tech coming to see us, which is really cool. And this isn't something special for us. In case you didn't know this, Grand Design has techs on the road that travel throughout the US and will go and fix rigs.
emergencies.
Yes.
Or recalls.
Yes, they're not, gonna help fix your trim and stuff like that, but they will help you in emergencies and recalls, which we think is really, really cool. So it's bright and early here, and our tech has shown up early, which is great. We're gonna knock this out today. Oh, and the other thing that we're fixing is our, which knob
valve.
is that?
It's the green valve,
On our Nautilus panel.
which controls water going to the tank. And so right now we can't put any water into our freshwater tank.
Yes, which is a big sad face from us because we love to go boondocking. So getting that knob fixed is very important to us, and they're gonna do it. So we're just gonna kind of share this whole experience with you and keep you in the loop here. All right, so we're looking at two brand new front jacks here. The reason they decided to go with front jacks is because we have a hydraulic leak. And it was a very, very slow leak, but immediately when the techs got here and they looked in here, they spotted the leak right off the bat. They actually have pressure gauges that they're able to put on the inside front panel here to see the pressure, and they know what it's supposed to be at, which I think the box will cut off at 2,600 if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
And so this was actually cutting off even earlier at about 2,400 PSI. So they knew a leak was the culprit. After checking all the jacks, they found the leak up here. They tried to simply just repair the line and reconnect it and tighten the fitting up here. However, the pressure wasn't going to the levels that they wanted it to go at, so they said, all right, let's just replace the jacks. So that's what they did. And it took them about an hour, I think, to replace the front two, reconnect all the fittings. They lowered and retracted all of the jacks. They refilled our fluid up here. We also brought in our 2 middle slides because that is on the hydraulic system as well. And those are working beautifully. We were actually getting a popping sound when retracting our slides, and we just thought they needed to be readjusted. And now we realize what was really happening was we were A, low on fluid because of the leak, and B, the pressure wasn't getting to what it needed to be to properly retract these hydraulic slides. So replacing obviously the leak, refilling our fluid, has now made our 2 front slides come out beautifully, which is a big win as well. So they actually took off the snap pads as well because they knew we love our pads and that we weren't gonna let them throw those away. I didn't even get a chance to film them. They switched these out so quickly and put the pads back on, but we're happy to have our snap pads back on here as well. And now they're gonna be heading in here once we get out of their way to replace one of the knobs on our Nautilus panel and reconnect everything because Jason had to do some jimmy rigging so we could get water in the meantime, which I'm gonna let him explain a little bit later.
Oh, we got pressure. So this is the back side of our Nautilus panel. Ray's gonna overlay a quick shot of the front of the Nautilus panel so you can see what it looks like on the front. This Nautilus panel is built so we can easily and quickly change different settings. We can siphon water into our tank, we can pull water out of our tank when we're dry camping, we can just do everything, sanitize our whole freshwater system. So it's got this chaos back here that allows us to have just one input instead of having like a gravity fill and a city water input like older campers do. And unfortunately for us, one of the valves on the front broke when we were in Big Bend, which is not a great place to have a RV part failure because there's not a lot out there. Luckily, I had additional PEX on hand and I was able to cut out around the valve and wire the PEX so we could get water for a couple of days. But the techs were able to come in here and bring us down a valve and install it for us and restore this whole panel back to its original working order. And as you can see here, they just added a couple of new PEX lines and added a whole new valve. So we're super excited about this. Our big problem was we weren't able to fill water to our freshwater tank, and so until we got this fixed, we weren't able to go boondocking. It only took them about 30 to 45 minutes, and while replacing the knob is probably a 5-minute job, they had to reconnect all of the, and remove all the PEX that I had added as our kind of workaround in the meantime. So that took them a little bit of extra time, but they were able to do it quickly.
Just like that, the techs are done. So we did want to thank Chris and Tom for making the hard drive out here to South Padre Island in the sunshine and the warm weather to fix our rig. They didn't act like they minded it too much, so we don't feel too guilty about it.
No.
So we did chat with them a little bit more about what they did and why they're on the road, and their answer was not what we originally thought. So we did want to correct ourselves and let you know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so the mobile service techs, their main role is to go to dealerships around the country and train and just review the work that they're doing, because Grand Design wants to make sure that all of your local service techs are able to repair Grand Designs up to their standards. And so they said most of what they do is training other repair techs and checking out their shops and answering any questions that they have. However, they said that if they are in the area and a Grand Design service center calls them and says that they have an emergency, they will go out of their way, kind of like us, to come and make a emergency repair. So we very much appreciate the help, because jacks going down when you're driving is definitely a scary thing.
Yes. Or just slowly feeling your jacks go down while you're in the rig is also not the most lovely feeling in the world here. So we were sitting pretty unlevel. The situation is now resolved.
You can actually see the line back there where the snap head is just rubbing.
Oh my gosh. And I am tickled pink to be in a perfectly level RV again.
Yeah, and so when the service techs are here though, it reminded me, come by and say hi, but do remember that if you do see them out at a campground, they want you to say hi, but they are working, so don't try to chit-chat, stick around too long. They're more than happy to answer quick questions, and they love it when you come by and just say hi and, you know, thank them for being out here doing their job. So
yeah.
They actually took off and they went down the road. There was an Imagine down there that was having a issue, and so they're gonna knock that one out before they head back, and they're gonna make a long drive up to Corpus Christi.
Yes. So again, thank you so much to Tom and Chris for fixing our rig. We very much appreciate it. And if you do see them on the road, don't forget to say hi. But other than that, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to join us.
That's
You
fine.
actually want me to squat down?
That's good, perfect.
2 brand new front jacks here. And we... Ready?
And just like that. So let's get out of this cramped space. Let's get out. Get out.
Please do not over, God.